Hi all, this is a short video to help you think through essay number one. I'll go through the instructions and point out some tips and things like that. Okay, so from the home page, you want to go to, I guess you can go either to assignments or you can go to modules. Let's go to assignments. Your page is going to look a little bit different. What you want to do is find the instructions for essay number one, code switching. That's what your first essay is about. Here are the instructions. It's the same. I'll use the same format for all the instructions for my essays. Some brief graphic at the top with the timetable of the different components, when they're due. And notice here's something to pay attention to. I have two sections of 1A this semester. With one section I meet with you on Tuesdays, one section I meet on Thursdays. So you'll see two different due dates in the timetable, and it just depends on which section you are. If you're in the Tuesday section, then look for the Tuesday due date. If you're in the Thursday section, of course, look for the Thursday due date. All the essays in this course, the four major writing projects, have a proposal, which is kind of like a brainstorming sheet that you finish ahead of time. We do peer editing for each of the major writing projects. There's the final draft, of course. And there's something called the letter to the reader, which I'll make a separate video to explain. That goes with each of the four major writing projects. Anyways, for this first essay, here's the topic, and let me just go through this. So English 1A is a course designed to equip you with the resources you will need to use written communication across a variety of academic contexts to successfully express your ideas and make convincing arguments. Right, so this is a course that's designed to help you develop your writing skills for your other courses and for the rest of your academic pursuits and professional pursuits as well. So we're going to be learning a lot about academic English this semester. We're going to be practicing probably a different kind of English than you're used to writing. But what exactly is academic English? It's a scary sounding term. And how does this differ from the ways that you speak, write, and text with your friends and family? Because it's we live in an interesting world where we're writing and reading all the time when we're texting and going online and such and things like this, but it's a different kind of language that we're engaged with. For college and university, we want to practice a form of English which is a bit different, more academic, right? So for this assignment, we're going to think about how we already use language in our own lives. So you're going to choose two different codes that you use in your life, and you're going to write about how you employ them in different contexts for a variety of purposes. So for this essay, your personal experience will be the evidence you use to support your claims about how code switching operates in your life. So for this essay, here's a breakdown of the structure. I want you to think about four different sections. Your first paragraph is just your introduction, introduce your two different codes that you're writing about. Do this briefly. Don't have some giant hook at the beginning of this paragraph where you try to, since the beginning of human history, people have been interested in codes or something like that, right? Just, try to move quickly to the codes that you use and end this paragraph with an argumentative thesis, your thesis statement about how you use these codes in your life, right? And I have a sample down here of, maybe a formula you could think about for your thesis statement. You don't have to follow that, but, it's a good model to think about to begin with anyways, right? Your basic thesis statement is just X is true because Y. So, this is just another form of that kind of thesis statement. Okay, so your introductory paragraph, your next couple paragraphs or more, I would say at least two. You should have at least one paragraph per code that you're going to write about, and you're just going to describe these two codes, right? So be specific of your description, as I note here, right? Get into specifics, things that this code entails. Like if you're hanging with your friends and you say you swear with your friends, write about that, right? Write about the fact that you swear, what kind of language you use, why you use that kind of language, right? And then you're going to want to provide an example. Where do I have that? Right, a specific example of how you use each of these codes. Right, you should try for like longer examples, right? So if you're talking about how you speak with your friends, for example, maybe describe an evening out you have with your friends and use some specific examples, specific words you used, specific phrases, the way you guys, you and your friends behave, all that kind of stuff. If you ever wanted to write about swearing in a paper, this is a good opportunity. Okay, so do that for both your codes. You're probably going to want like at least one paragraph, probably two paragraphs per each code. And then in your paper, you want to analyze what would happen if you use one of your codes in the wrong setting or used it with a different crowd. What if you spoke to your parents the way you speak to your friends? What if you spoke to your professors the way you speak to your friends? What if you spoke to your friends the way you speak to people at church? You know, these different codes in our lives. What happens if you mix these codes? All right, so reflect on that. That should be about a paragraph or two thinking about that. This is going to help you think about how these codes operate in your life, what you're using them for. And then your final paragraph, your conclusion, you want to summarize your thesis and your main points. Don't just cut and paste, right? Just summarize your main ideas from earlier, and then try to leave your reader with a final thought. Maybe what you learned about code switching through this project, how you plan to practice code switching in the future, something like that, right? Something future oriented that's interesting for your reader. So that's the structure you should follow, right? It's up to you to make your own way through that, but basically that's what you want to aim for. It should be, should be a paragraph here, maybe I would say probably 3 or 4 paragraphs here, a couple paragraphs here. So we're looking at about what, like 6, maybe 7 paragraphs, right? The whole paper should be about 4 pages. So if you go through and follow this structure, that shouldn't be too onerous a task. Sounds like a lot, but if you go through the structure, it's not too much, I don't think. Research, this is a research list paper, right? You're in fact not allowed to use outside sources. This is a personal reflection kind of paper. So you want to use your own experiences from your own life as the evidence and analyze that material. There's some tips down here. I'll just highlight this one, right? Good thesis statement formula. MLA formatting rules, please follow those. We'll be looking at those in the next couple of weeks. This is due in class, right? So you need all this material. You need your typed final draft. No works cited page for this one, don't worry, because you're using your own experience. You have no outside sources, so you don't need a works cited page. Your rough draft, typed rough draft, peer editing worksheet that we'll do in class, and then a slip from a tutor if you go to the tutor and get the bonus mark. Oh, and I noticed I forgot to put letter to the reader down here. There's also a letter to the reader that's due. I'll have to go and edit this assignment. So probably when you see this on Canvas, it'll be fixed. But anyways, that's also due with part of this final package. Okay, if you have any questions, email me. Again, bonus mark is available if you take a draft of this paper at any point to a tutor and work on a tutor on the paper. Okay, please do email me if you have any questions. Bye-bye.